because I refuse to not be first.
Do we do enough? Well, I never shut up about it.
It must have been about 16, 17. We nicked their guilt rings. Right, the bouncer's guilt ring.
This is no good for me. That's the reality. If you want the honest truth, and I see it every day.
Andrew McCART, IFL TV, proudly sponsored by Everlast. I've got to say I'm delighted, as always, to be joined by ARIEL HELWANI. ARIEL, first and foremost, mate, welcome to Dublin. You've been here before for the UFC event, but I want to pick up something you said at the JD event yesterday. Are you more famous than Eddie Hearn in Dublin?
Well, first of all, great to be back on IFL. I believe the views will show that I'm the most popular person on the channel, and I'm happy that they brought you out here, my friend. Not Umar or Coogan, all these guys, like B leagues. We've got the A leagues here, so good to see you again. Speaking of which, Eddie tried to make the case that he's more popular than I am here in Dublin, but the people have spoken. We were walking up and down the streets of Crumlin yesterday. We were outside JD. No one was asking him for a photo. Like, they were asking him to hold the camera to take a photo of me and the fans. So I think he's backing down a little bit. Again, the people have spoken. I'm the people's champ. He's the promoter.
Listen. I actually believe you, ARIEL. I know that might be tongue-in-cheek, but I actually believe you.
Tongue-in-cheek. I'm being 100% real here. Now, we go to the posh, I don't know, what is it, Essex, where he's from? We go to Essex, maybe he's the man over there. But everywhere outside of Essex, especially here in Dublin, I mean, I'm pretty much half Irish at this point. I speak like them, you know yourself, all over the gaff. What's the crack? The crack is 90. I mean, I know, what's the story? This and that. I mean, I pretty much speak like them. Yeah, exactly. So, I love it here. It's just my second time ever here in Dublin, and I can't wait to come back. I'm already here, and I can't wait to come back.
Same question I asked you yesterday at the JD event. I asked you, like, you've obviously had a UFC event. Now, we know UFC events. If any UFC fans or boxing fans, you know, any UFC event, there's a magnitude to it. There's fans are involved. It's a spectacle. You were here when Conor McGregor fought here back in 2014. Now, I asked you a similar question. What are you expecting from Katie Taylor? You had a little bit of snippet. You had a little snippet at the public workout of what we can expect. Yeah. But what are you expecting on Saturday?
Oh my God. I've been dreaming of 2014 since that night, July of 2014. I think off the top of my head it was July 19th. That's how memorable it is to me. When Conor came out, it's one of the most magical things that I've ever experienced as a journalist and as a fan who has been lucky enough to go to a bunch of sporting events. And so I've always been chasing that dragon. I want to experience it because I've often said, pound for pound, the Irish fans are the best in the world. No, I mean, it's not even close, really. The passion, the atmosphere, the enthusiasm, all that stuff. And so I always said, when Katie Taylor finally got the opportunity as a pro to fight here, I need to be here because I've always enjoyed watching her. I love what she represents. I love how she fights. I love everything about her. And so when they called me to work the Jake Paul, Nathan Diaz fight for DAZN, I said, awesome. I would love to be there. It means a lot to me. Nathan has been a big part of my career as well. But I need to be in Ireland on May 20th as well. It was a package deal for me. If I'm being honest, they don't need me here, but I wanted to be here because this fight was going to be so special and so big. So I hope it's like 2014 times 10. She deserves it. She's earned it. And it's crazy to me that this is her first time fighting as a pro here in her home country, but good things come to those who wait. And I'm buzzing. I just can't wait to experience that because I think it's going to be unlike. They thought Guadalajara was great for Canelo. There's going to be, 50,000 less people here. I think this is going to be better than that.
Obviously, you were the big UFC guy back in the day, and then you were the journalist that asked all the questions, the tough asking questions, and the UFC was sort of you and the UFC grew together up in sort of this magnitude, wherever the heck you are. You're a stratosphere now, especially you, ARIEL. So can Katie Taylor, can she sort of she might not be the global superstar that Conor is, but definitely in Ireland she is up there with Conor. But do you think that after this fight and maybe a fight at Croke Park that she can be in that sort of realm with Conor?
I think so. Why not? The difference between 2014 and this weekend is, of course, Conor was on the rocket ship, right? She has already kind of arrived. She is the champ, now going for a whole new set of belts, but they're at different points in their career. She's an Olympic gold medalist. She won that gold medal 11 years ago. So there's been a lot of time. But to me, when you talk about the most beloved and greatest female athletes in the world, she needs to be in that conversation. And I don't know yet in America if she's in that conversation. I'm trying my best to educate people. on her and her being in that conversation. But I think as far as boxing is concerned, as far as the fight game is concerned, she has surpassed the female conversation. She's one of the greatest fighters of all time, in my opinion, one of the greatest European fighters, Irish sportsmen, like all these things, right? Or sports person, I should say. And it's just amazing to see someone who, when they were growing up, the dream that she had was impossible. The reality of the dream that she had was actually literally impossible. And what I mean by that is, for a woman to fight in Ireland when she was a kid was illegal. She could not do it. Yeah, unbelievable. For a woman to fight in the Olympics, didn't happen. It was not a thing. Women were not allowed to compete in boxing in the Olympics. She made all these things a reality. She made Saturday a reality. And so, like, think about how special that is as a human being. She was a great soccer player, football player. She could have just taken the, I don't want to say easy route because it's very hard to make it in that sport as well, but she chose to like literally blaze a trail. We call a lot of people trailblazers. She is legitimately a trailblazer. And it's just an honor to be here to witness all of it come to fruition.
I mean, to have Conor McGregor wanting to sponsor the event, to want to make this event happen, and then I'm hearing he's going to be there Saturday night as well. To have somebody as busy as Conor with all the businesses he runs, he's got a fight himself coming up, he's just filmed The Ultimate Fighter. To have him coming to the event speaks volumes to the superstar power that Katie Taylor has.
He adores her. He has never said a bad thing about her. He has only gone out of his way to support her. I remember when she fought in Boston a few years ago. Remember that scene? He goes into the locker room to say good things about her. She was at his fight in 2014 against Diego Brandao. She was sitting in the front. And I think he had to return the favor here and come. And he flew, I believe he was in America, he just arrived. He is coming back to witness this, to be a part of this. And I think it's great. These are the two most famous fighters in the history of Irish fighting, right? The most famous MMA fighter, the most famous boxer. And for them to have this relationship, two very different personalities, two very different people. But I think it's really awesome that Conor has reached the stage in his life where he can financially support this fight, where he can sponsor Katie. I think it's great. And I hate when people try to talk positively about Katie by putting Conor down, or vice versa. They should be celebrated. They've done great things for this country, and it's great to see them on the same page supporting each other.
You had Daniel Cormier or DC on your show, and I seen a snippet, but I don't know if you posted it or some MMA channel posted it. Now, he was talking about who is the pound for pound number one in MMA, and he said Khabib, right? So I'm going to put you on the spot. 3 pound for pounds. Your MMA pound for pound, your male boxing pound for pound, and your female pound for pound.
Okay, currently, right? Not all time.
Old time. We'll go for old time. Yeah, we'll go old time.
Jeez. Okay, well.
Jay, you want to say Jesus?
Jesus. Yeah, see, I'm a fellow Irishman. So I will just say I have always had 2 pound for pound lists. There's a list that includes everyone, but if you have tested positive for PEDs, I exclude you from the other list. So for these purposes, I'll just tell you like the all-encompassing list. John Jones is number 1. Unfortunately, there are a couple infractions, and so if you want to go with the clean list, it's GSP. Does that make sense? So GSP would be number 1 for me in the clean list. He never tested positive. There's no infraction. There's no sort of asterisk on us. Yeah. But John, if everything is good and kosher, John is number 1, in my opinion. As far as female boxing is concerned, it's 1,000% Katie Taylor. And that to me is the easiest one to answer. She's number 1 pound for pound right now, and I think she's the greatest female boxer of all time. As far as greatest pound for pound, oh my God, boxer. That's a tough one.
You can go as far back as Sugar Ray Robinson or whatever. Just pick one.
I know it's somewhat controversial, but I lean towards Floyd because he retired 49-0, 50-0 if you want to count the Conor fight. There's a lot to choose from. There's the Rocky Marcianos, the Sugar Ray Robinsons. But I lean towards Floyd Mayweather for that one. And right now, the pound for pound discussion is really interesting. The current pound for pound, is it a Terrence Crawford? Is it an Errol Spence? Is it a Tyson Fury? Is it a Inoue? Is it a Usyk? I mean, boxing is amazing right now. And Gervonta Davis needs to be in that discussion. And Devin Haney needs to be in that discussion. And I don't think they get enough love in that discussion. So I'm such a fan of boxing. And it drives me a little bit mad when people say to me, oh, stick to MMA. I loved boxing before I even knew what MMA was. I'm from Montreal. I went to go watch Arturo Gatti fight in Montreal. My favorite fighter of all time is a guy named Otis Grant, who once fought Roy Jones Jr. It didn't last very long with him, but I love boxing. I love it so very much. And so to get the opportunity to do some things like this really means a lot to me.
One final one then, obviously, I don't know how much you know about Chantel Cameron, but undefeated, undisputed, throws as many punches as Katie, maybe a little bit bigger than Katie, but that may be a discrepancy in that as well, because she had to go to 140 because Katie was down at this weight here, so almost similar styles. They do throw a lot of punches, so what kind of fight? Amanda Serrano, you were there at that fight, so what are you expecting on Saturday?
I'm expecting a brawl, to be honest. I saw a quote from Chantel who said, you know, my coaches have kept me back, but they're letting me go. They're breaking the leash for this one. I was like, oh my God, that is going to be insane. I'll be honest, you know, I'm very open about my admiration for Katie. I think Amanda's tremendous as well. That 5th round against Amanda Serrano, I was like, oh my God, is it ending right now? And so if Katie fights with that sort of brawling style, this is going to be a tough night for her. Look, I don't think this is being talked about enough. Katie Taylor could have sold out the 3 Arena fighting a broomstick. She could have sold out Croke Park fighting me or you. She didn't need another opponent. Yes, absolutely. At the same time, she didn't need a fight like this, right? She didn't have to go up. She didn't have to go fight the undisputed champion at 140 pounds. That says so much about her. And I'm not trying to put Amanda Serrano down when I say this. I hope you understand that. But look at her next fight. Heather Hardy's a legend, but she's not Chantel Cameron, right? Both of them could have taken easy fights. Katie Taylor is not taking an easy fight. The Amanda Serrano rematch could die on Saturday if she loses this fight, right? And so there's so much at stake here. So I hope for her sake she takes, you know, the right approach. She doesn't try to just, you know, sit in the pocket, phone booth fighting, and let it all hang. But I think she's just cut from that cloth. And so I expect this fight to go 10 rounds, but I expect it to be incredible. And I expect it to be close, maybe 7-3, 6-4. We'll see who wins. But I can't wait.
Yeah, I totally agree with you, Ariel. Listen, thank you so much for your time as always, brother. And listen, I'll probably get another chat with you soon. But thanks again, Ariel. Thank you, brother. Thank you.
Because I refuse to not be first.
Do we do enough? Well, I never shut up about it.
It must have been about 17, 16, 17. We nicked their guilt rings. Right, the bouncer's guilt ring.
This is no good for me. That's the reality. If you want the honest truth, and I see it every day,